Discipline has no mood. It does not wait for alignment. It does not check energy. It operates independently of how things feel. That is why it works. Discipline is not an emotional response. It is a mechanical one. It functions the same on good days and bad ones. Mood fluctuates. Discipline does not. Mood reacts to conditions. Discipline creates them. When action depends on mood, consistency collapses. Most people confuse discipline with motivation. They're not related. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is procedural. Emotion is unstable. Procedure is reliable. Discipline executes regardless of desire. That independence is the advantage. Progress does not require feeling ready. It requires behavior repeating. Discipline removes negotiation. Negotiation invites delay. Delay favors mood. Mood prioritizes comfort. Comfort resists effort. Discipline ignores this conflict. It does not argue. It does not persuade. It moves. That movement compounds. Discipline does not care if today feels heavy. It treats today the same as any other. This is not harshness. It is efficiency. When discipline is present, mood becomes irrelevant. That is the core rule.
This problem goes unnoticed because mood feels natural. People trust how they feel. They assume feeling ready matters. Mood is familiar. Discipline is not. Most people were taught to listen inward. They were not taught to execute regardless. Mood presents itself as information. It feels intelligent. When energy is low, mood suggests waiting. Waiting feels responsible. Nothing breaks immediately. Tasks are postponed. Deadlines shift. Life continues. The system does not punish delay right away. Silence is interpreted as permission. Mood creates explanations. Explanations reduce urgency. I'm tired feels valid. I'll do it later feels reasonable. Each delay reinforces the belief that mood should decide action. Over time, behavior becomes conditional. Action depends on alignment. Alignment depends on feeling. Feeling is unstable. This instability is normalized. Most people believe inconsistency is human. They believe discipline is extreme. That belief protects mood. Discipline is framed as rigid. Mood is framed as healthy. This framing hides the cost. Mood-driven behavior appears flexible. Flexibility appears adaptive. In reality, flexibility erodes structure. Without structure, repetition collapses. Without repetition, progress stalls. Because nothing fails catastrophically, nothing is questioned. People remain active enough to function, not consistent enough to build momentum. Mood masks the problem by keeping life comfortable. Comfort reduces friction. Reduced friction hides weakness. The system adjusts downward quietly. Lower standards feel realistic. Reduced output feels sustainable. This state persists because it feels balanced. Balance without progress feels acceptable. By the time the cost is visible, mood has already become the authority, and discipline feels foreign. That is why the problem remains unnoticed.
The misunderstanding is subtle but damaging. Discipline is mistaken for force. People believe discipline means intensity. They believe it requires aggression. That belief is incorrect. Discipline is not pressure applied emotionally. It is structure applied consistently. Mood-driven effort feels intense. It feels committed. But intensity is unstable. Discipline does not rely on intensity. It relies on repeatability. Another misunderstanding follows. Discipline is assumed to conflict with humanity. Mood is assumed to represent authenticity. This frames discipline as unnatural and mood as honest. That framing is false. Mood reflects current conditions. Discipline creates future ones. Mood responds. Discipline initiates. When people wait to feel aligned, they believe they are respecting limits. In reality, they are surrendering control. Discipline does not ignore limits. It defines minimum behavior. Minimum behavior protects consistency. Mood does not respect minimums. It negotiates them. Negotiation erodes standards. Standards must be fixed to function. Another belief reinforces the misunderstanding. People assume discipline must feel good eventually. They wait for satisfaction to arrive. Discipline does not promise satisfaction, it promises output. Satisfaction appears later, often unexpectedly. Waiting for emotional confirmation reverses the process. Action becomes conditional. Conditionals invite delay. Discipline removes conditions. That removal feels uncomfortable. Discomfort is interpreted as a warning. It is not. It is simply the absence of permission from mood. The system is unused to acting without emotional approval. That unfamiliarity is mistaken for danger. It is adaptation beginning. Discipline is not cruelty, it is clarity. It does not argue with mood, it bypasses it. That bypass is misunderstood as suppression. In reality, it is efficiency. The misunderstanding persists because mood speaks loudly, discipline speaks quietly, and most people listen to the louder voice.
The system does not wait for readiness. It responds to patterns. Patterns are created by repetition. Repetition is created by execution. Mood interferes with this process. Mood introduces variability. Variability breaks patterns. When behavior changes based on feeling, the system cannot stabilize. Stability is required for progress. Discipline provides stability. It standardizes action regardless of internal state. The system reads this consistency as reliability. Reliability allows adaptation. Adaptation increases capacity. This is the sequence. Mood disrupts it at the first step. When mood decides action, execution becomes optional. Optional execution produces irregular input. Irregular input prevents adaptation. The system remains static. This is not resistance, it is logic. The system optimizes for efficiency. If effort is inconsistent, the system does not invest in expansion. Expansion is costly. It requires certainty. Discipline supplies that certainty. By removing decision-making, discipline removes variability. Action becomes automatic. Automatic action produces steady input. Steady input forces recalibration. Capacity increases gradually. Mood cannot create this outcome. Mood fluctuates with sleep, stress, and environment. These variables are unrelated to long-term objectives. Allowing them to dictate behavior disconnects effort from outcome. Discipline reconnects them. Another mechanism operates simultaneously. Repetition trains identity. What is done consistently becomes self-perception. When action is dependent on mood, identity becomes conditional. Conditional identity weakens self-trust. Discipline produces unconditional behavior. Unconditional behavior produces stable identity. Stable identity reduces friction. Reduced friction increases execution. Execution compounds. This compounding effect is quiet. There is no emotional surge. There is no dramatic shift. Results appear gradually. This absence of drama causes doubt. People expect change to feel different.
Discipline feels ordinary. That ordinariness is mistaken for ineffectiveness. In reality, it is precision. Discipline does not aim to feel powerful. It aims to function. Mood aims to feel right. Function is secondary. The system prioritizes function. It adapts to what is repeated, not to what is intended, not to what is desired. When discipline is present, the system adjusts predictably. When mood dominates, the system waits. Waiting produces nothing. This is why discipline outperforms motivation. It supplies consistent input. The system responds. That response is inevitable.
This requires separation. Action must be separated from feeling. If feeling is allowed to decide, discipline cannot operate. This requires removing permission. Permission invites negotiation. Negotiation delays execution. Discipline functions only when execution is non-negotiable. This means defining minimum behavior. Minimum behavior is not optimal behavior. It is reliable behavior. Reliability matters more than intensity. When minimums are fixed, mood loses authority. Action occurs even when energy is low. Consistency remains intact. This will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is not harm. It is withdrawal from dependence on mood. The system is accustomed to emotional approval. Removing that approval feels unnatural. That reaction is expected. This requires structure. Structure eliminates choice at the moment of action. Choice introduces hesitation. Hesitation favors mood. Structure enforces repetition. Repetition creates patterns. Patterns create results. This requires accepting dullness. Discipline is not stimulating, it is repetitive. Repetition lacks novelty. Novelty feeds mood. Discipline ignores novelty. This requires tolerance for monotony. Monotony is not stagnation, it is stabilization. Stabilization allows growth. This also requires restraint. Restraint prevents overreaction to bad days. Bad days do not require adjustment, they require adherence. Good days do not justify excess, they require the same behavior. Discipline treats all days equally. This equality is the advantage. Responsibility here is simple. Execute regardless of feeling, not forcefully, predictably. Discipline does not ask how you feel, it proceeds.
When discipline has no mood, outcomes change predictably. Not immediately, gradually. Consistency compounds quietly. Days stop feeling decisive. Weeks start producing results. When mood no longer controls action, progress becomes stable. Effort no longer spikes and collapses, it levels. That leveling builds capacity. Tasks feel lighter over time, not because they changed, because tolerance increased. The system adapts to reliability. Reliability produces trust. Self-trust replaces motivation. You stop negotiating internally. Internal friction decreases. Energy is conserved. Without mood interference, execution becomes efficient. Missed days decrease. Recovery time shortens. Setbacks no longer reset momentum, they are absorbed. This creates resilience. Resilience is not intensity, it is durability. Most people never experience this state because mood interrupts the process. When mood is removed from authority, identity stabilizes. You begin to see yourself as someone who executes. That identity reduces resistance further. The system expects follow-through. Follow-through becomes default. Long-term opportunities expand.
Not because you chased them, because capacity made them accessible. Consistency opens options quietly. Without discipline, options feel risky. With discipline, they feel manageable. Time begins to work in your favor. Progress accumulates without effort escalation. This is the delayed reward. It arrives without announcement. Those who rely on mood never reach this phase. They reset repeatedly. Those who operate without mood advance steadily. The difference is not talent, it is structure. Over time, the gap widens. One system compounds, the other oscillates. That divergence becomes permanent. This is the long-term consequence.
Discipline has no mood. That is not a slogan. It is a rule. Mood changes constantly. Discipline cannot. If action waits for alignment, progress becomes conditional. Conditional progress collapses. Discipline exists to remove conditions. It executes on bad days the same way it executes on good ones. Not with force, with consistency. Mood seeks comfort. Comfort avoids effort. Discipline ignores both. It does not argue with feeling. It does not attempt to improve it. It proceeds regardless. This is not suppression, it is prioritization. Feelings are temporary. Results are cumulative. When mood leads, outcomes oscillate. When discipline leads, outcomes compound. The system responds only to repetition, not intention, not desire. Repeated execution builds capacity. Capacity reduces resistance. Resistance fades. Action stabilizes. This stability creates freedom. Freedom does not come from feeling good. It comes from functioning reliably. Discipline provides that function. Mood does not. If discipline is allowed to depend on how you feel, it ceases to be discipline. If discipline is independent of mood, progress becomes inevitable. This is not motivation, it is mechanics. Discipline has no mood. That is why it works.